Today we are going to talk about plant organs. So an organ is made up of several tissues, while a tissue is made up of several cells. So in plants, there are two organ systems, the shoot system and the root system. The shoot system refers to the above ground structures, such as the leaf, stem, flower, fruit, and seed, while the root system refers to the below ground structures, which is the root. For this video, we are going to focus on the shoot system, specifically the stem. So as I have mentioned earlier, a stem is an above ground structure that serves a lot of functions, including providing structural support for other above ground structure such as the flowers, leaves, and fruits. It is also important for vascular transport. Remember that a stem or the stem contains vascular tissues or the xylem and the phloem, and this conducts water, nutrients, and minerals. So the stem transports these materials from their site of absorption, which is in the root, to other organs of the plant. It is also a site for gas exchange via the lenticels. A lenticel is a pore or opening or spongy regions found on the bark of the stem. So these are the lenticels. So what are the parts of a stem? So the basic parts. We have the node. The node is a point on the stem from which the leaves, buds, or branches or aerial roots arise. So between two nodes is what we call the internode. So this is the internode and these two are the nodes. They also have an apical bud, which is found in the apex or the tip of the stem, and this is responsible for primary growth or the increase in height. And they also have axillary buds. So this is an example of axillary bud. Axillary buds or lateral bud arise from the axil. So what is the axil? The axil is the upper angle, this angle, above the leaf stalk and the main axis of the stem. So these axillary bud or lateral buds develop into shoots or branches. For the cross section of the stem, we have here a dicot stem and a monocot stem. So both of them have epidermis and ground tissues. And of course, they have vascular bundles. The difference is that the vascular bundles of a dicot is arranged into a ring, while for monocots, it is scattered. There are two classifications of a stem, the strong stem and the weak stem. The strong stem is further classified into three: the codex, or those with erect and strong stem with no branches but has a crown of leaves such as the coconut, palm, and betel nut. The excurrent, this one is branch, but the branches are developed to produce a cone-like structure, while the decurrent is the dome shape. For the weak stem, we have the climbers and the creepers. Now let's go to the modifications of the stem, and it is further classified into three: the underground, aerial, and subaerial. When we say underground, it is below the ground. Aerial is above the ground, while subaerial, a portion of the stem is in the air and some portion is in contact with the soil. So let's start with the underground modifications of a stem. So normally, these underground modifications are thickened, bulbous, and fleshy. And the main function is to store food, but they are also used for vegetative propagation. Rhizome is a thickened underground stem that has a distinct node. So these are the nodes, and in between that is the internode. And these are the buds that will give rise to the new plant. The difference of rhizome to other underground structures or underground stem modifications is that it grows horizontally. On the other hand, the corm is a short, fleshy underground stem that grows vertically. An example of that is the taro or the colocasia. Tuber is an enlarged underground stem with eyes. So these eyes are the nodes, and this will give rise to the new plant. The bulb is a short underground stem. So this is the bulb. It is modified into a disc-like structure. This portion are modified leaf stalks, or what we call as the leaf scales. For the aerial modifications of the stem, we have thorns. Thorns are modified branches or stems that are hard with pointed ends. And of course, their function is to protect the plants. Tendril is a slender twining strand that supports the weak stem by climbing on surfaces or attaching on surfaces. We also have the phylloclade and cladode. So these two are flattened structures that are photosynthetic, and they resemble leaf-like branches. The difference is that the phylloclade shows unlimited growth and has several nodes and internodes. The classic example is this tapeworm plant, this plant. So they have several nodes and internodes, while cladode shows a limited growth. The bulbil or the bulblets are axillary buds which become fleshy and rounded due to the storage of food. Lastly are the subaerial modifications of a stem. So we have runner or stolon. In many references, these two terms are interchangeable with each other. So both of them grows parallel to the ground and has a creeping stem with long internodes. And a new plant will develop in the nodes. However, in other references, they differentiate a runner from a stolon. They define runner as the stem that is attached to the ground, while the stolons have stems that are elevated, like in strawberries. Offsets are shorter and thicker than the runners and are often seen in aquatic plants. So these are the offsets. Lastly is the suckers. So these are new plants that arise from the lower portion of the stem, although they may also arise from the roots.